I feel like I need some intro music. What's up, hobby? ZiggyNo here with the Hobby Heartbeat Live. It is Thursday, the 12th of June, about 5 something p.m. Thought I'd go to live. Eventually someday I'm going to schedule these a little bit more in advance. I've just been winging stuff. Life has been very busy, moving around, changing things. Things are just in flux. Good flux, but fluxing. Flux. Today, a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about in the show today, man. We're going to talk about news in the hobby. I'm going to comment on Bobbles and Ball Card, his video, which I saw Neo already did a follow-up video on, so I'm not going to say anything Neo didn't say, but I did want to bring it up. Sports Card Investigator. You guys watch Sports Card Investigator's video today? Follow Sports Card Investigator. Go check out his video. I was laughing. Was it right? I was laughing. I'm just going to say that. I don't know if it was right. I think right and wrong is not what we're talking about when you just are humored. I was entertained, very entertained. Sports Card Nonsense has a new show, a new collaboration. Talk about that. PSA, big news. Big news, guys. Big news. PSA, GameStop, merger acquisition, GameStop, PSA. What? Don't talk about that. Little buzz. I'll give you an AI update. I've been using AI. I actually have AI right now generating a report from each day, searching different resources to give me hobby news. I thought I'd share that with you. We'll take a look at that. What I'll just say this, guys, if you're not using AI, you really check it out. It's pretty cool. And think 3 steps, like think chess. Think I'm going to put them in checkmate in 3 steps and tell AI that's your plan and see if AI can help you do that. I'm going to put together a top weekly shows that are on every week on a weekly basis that I just find enjoyable to watch. Just the top weekly shows. Normally these shows will be live shows. They're not always live, but most of them they're live. I'm working on that. Top new to me shows. It's kind of like last week's top 10, kind of shows you guys aren't watching. These are new ones that I found recently that I think are kind of cool and they're small channels. I'm working on that one for the weekend. And then I'm working on a top teachers collaboration. I think teachers would be interesting. There's so many teachers that are in the content creation world. I'd love for them to get together. I'd love for them to collaborate. I'd love to get their insight. I also say this too. I hear a lot of them talk about their involvement with their students. I only know one teacher who's actually like created a kids club, a card club thing, and maybe others have done it and they'll talk about it. But I want to talk about his and just some ideas on teaching and cards and the whole 9 yards because I look at it a little differently than other people might. Nat Turner sits on the board, GameStop and PSA, conflict of interest. Let's talk about it. It's not a conflict of interest. It's very common, right, that he would sit on both boards. And so let's talk about that real quickly. I appreciate it, Bargain Box, that you bring it up. The rumor is, and here's what I heard today, was that if you go to a VPN and you try to hit, I was told the PSA website, I didn't hear this from the collector's website, it resolves at GameStop. That's really interesting. And GameStop shares are down today. Rumors, I don't know where these rumors are coming from. I think it would be genius for PSA to do what I would call a merger, because in my opinion, you got to think PSA is the engine. It's a growing company with a lot of strength, a lot of power, doing some, like, I'll put it this way, dude. If they were to buy GameStop, they're basically just going IPO in an easy path, right? They don't have to SPAC. They don't have to IPO. They just immediately go public. They don't have to share numbers with investors. They immediately go public. And GameStop, gosh, I would expect GameStop would just like step aside and bring in a lot of different board members. I could be wrong. It shakes the whole industry up in so many different ways. Is that good or bad for other people in the industry? I will say this, in my opinion, I think PSA is the biggest unchecked monster in the hobby. And then you're going to say, what do you mean? They're not a monopoly. There's other competitors. I know they're not officially a monopoly, but there's no competitor to them. There really is no competitor to them and what they do and how they do it. There is options or competition choices, but boy, they are just a bully. I would say with Fanatics, at least Fanatics is responsible to the athletes. Like the athletes really do own those licenses. They could pull stuff back. They could choke the collar back on Fanatics, say, we don't like that. We want you to do something different. So I do feel like that's a different oversight that Fanatics has that PSA doesn't. So again, I'm very interested in seeing that. If that happens, if PSA, GameStop, I think it'd be good. Interesting story too, real quickly, while we're talking about this. Breakers are the biggest unchecked bully in the hobby. Interesting. Not going to get to breakers yet. We'll talk about that in a minute. I love it. This is why this channel is live. I was talking about PSA going public. Oh, you made me change my train of thought. Okay, let's talk about it. Breakers, biggest check. Who just made a video on that? Oh, John Mangini made a very, 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 very good video. Interesting video. My rebuttal to this would be 2018, the United States Supreme Court legalized gambling in the United States. They put it at the states to decide. They basically took away the reins. Gambling was illegal. For a decade, at least a decade, and companies like FanDuel and what's the other one? Excuse me. Under the guise of fantasy football, pushed to get the legalization of gambling. There's no doubt in my mind. And once that wall crumbled, all it did is the federal government said, we're not going to stop it. The states make up your decision. Then everybody lobbied the states. Money's coming to the states. This money's coming into the positions of NIL. I need to get a water. It's coming so many different places. That flood of money in 2018 is doing so many things. I mean, it has such a big impact. Gambling is one of them. Look at ESPN. ESPN was a company that might have gone under. But because of gambling, and now they're a casino, basically, they give lines while they're in the middle of their games, it's a whole new world. So what I'm saying is, I can understand if you're having a gambling addiction, and there are many gambling addicted people out there, sports cards can be a gateway to rehabilitation, getting out of gambling, doing something different, maybe finding a collection, a little more control. Like, I'm not one of those people who believes like it's an all or none. Although I will say, you don't see many crackheads working in the cocaine store. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain addictions that you need to separate yourself from. And that's probably a bad analogy. I'm live. I forgot to put the filter on. So my point to this is that gambling is a problem in our society because as much as we think it's checked, it's really not. It's now down to the states to decide. Some states decide certain things that others don't. We know with the internet today, with VPNs, with different technologies, people can gamble almost anywhere, and children are getting access to that, whether it's to an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, or other ways. So that is a bigger problem. Is that an excuse for it? Nope. I'm just saying I'm aware. I don't think it's fair. Breakers are the biggest unchecked bully in the hobby. I don't think that. And here's my rebuttal to that bargain box breaker. In fact, breakers are the only group in the hobby that has any check on them, any accountability. And that is because they have the cameras on. So think about that, right? Think about that. Everybody else in the hobby, cameras are optional, right? And when they're on, they're normally on for security reasons. They're not on because they're trying to make the hobby a better place. Okay. Breakers have it on because it's part of their business. You can't break cards unless you have the camera on. Interestingly enough, back in the day, used to put the camera on, record it, and send the recording out to people, and they'd watch it later. It didn't have to be live. But anyway, the cameras are on. And again, going back to that example of you're going to have people with addictions who are going to post an addiction video. Oh man, I'm addicted, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have that with these numbers. You're going to have asshole idiots who are going to screw stuff up in the breaking community. Anybody can be a breaker. There's no license. There's no regulation for that. And we'll talk regulation if you want to in a moment. And because of that, you lump everybody and go, oh, breaking's bad. It's because he's screwing it up. It's all because of it. And that's not fair. That is not fair at all. Right. So I don't believe that. So again, back to bargain box break. Breaking is checked. It is the only part of the hobby that is checked because it has the cameras on. And the breaking community will bully the bad breaker. If you see a bad breaker, you're going to bully. You want him out. You might go to his allocator or his distributor and rat on him. If, hey, I heard he's stealing or he's doing. So there's too much. I won't say too much. There's a lot of checking in the breaking world, not so much in the rest of the hobby. And think about that, right? You can trim, wash, wipe, do whatever you want. In fact, another quick news note to make. I was watching, I wasn't watching the entire thing. I just checked out Kurt's Card Care live stream last night, and it was very, very busy. And he started off by talking about they oversold in this new product. They put out a new buffing solution called Recover. And I think he said he sold 1 million, quantity 1 million. I tell you what, quantity 1 million, anything is a lot of things. And it just makes me think to myself, his business is booming, right? And listening to him talk about it, dude, there was no doubt in my mind. He was not, it was interesting. I'll just say that. It was very interesting. There's no downslide in the hobby. And I'll say this too. So here's another thing. You might think the hobby's Collecting's dead. Collecting's not dead, which reminds me, I'm on another little tangent here, but let me throw this out here. I watched Jeff Wilson do a video with his son, completing his son's master collection of Pokemon, and his son was putting the last card. And all I could think to myself that entire video was, dude, this looks so staged. Like, I'm like, did you make your son's master set and make him take one card out and then, hey, we're gonna put the last one on the video, okay? Put it in. It felt awkward after he's coming out saying all those things about the hobby. It's just awkward. Man, I'm jumping all around. Sports card investigator. Started talking about him. Check out his video. He grills the whole situation with leaving the hobby. Has a really interesting take about people leaving the hobby and coming into the hobby and coming on Facebook and off of Facebook and coming on YouTube. And I'll just say this too. I've always said this before. The hobby, you don't have to be in the hobby for a long time. In fact, most people are not. Most people, in my opinion, you have two types of people in the hobby. I said this before. Those who come and are going to leave, and those who come and will never leave. And you're like, duh. That's obviously, well, people never come at all. That's the third type. But my point is, once you get here, you either get disgusted and you leave, or you get so disgusted, you see so much, you understand it so much, like, shit, I just can't leave, man. I gotta help, or I gotta fix, or you just get enthralled in it. So that's kind of the way it is. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. So on the news side, Bobbles talked about how SGC is not going to be doing as many bulk subbers. I thought was really interesting. Again, Neo talked about this. Carlos will talk about this. My takeaway from this is that I don't think that their SGC is going to go away as a company. I do think, though, there's less need in this market for subbers. And I will say this too. Most of the companies in this market, whether it's PSA or Fanatics or I don't care, what are these major creators of the company, they don't like the middleman taking too much of their margin. And I think that's why PSA is looking, there's too many subbers out there. We don't need all these subbers. You guys aren't helping me. I got GameStops everywhere subbing cards into me. I got big stores who can sub into me. I don't need one or two friendly subbers anymore. And I think that's why they changed that policy. Do I think SGC is going away? No, I don't. I think it's like RC Cola and Coca-Cola. That you want to have different brands. I also think PSA continues to grow, and if the news about their merger acquisition is true, having SGC even adds to that value, and they could they could spin it off maybe at some point as a vintage collectors grading company or something like that. So too valuable an asset. Let me just say this again. SGC, the name and what it does, is too valuable an asset to dismantle, especially if you look at the grading landscape today. Guys, lots of companies came in 2020. None of them are here today. I would give credit to Tag is still around. You could say Tag is here, right? But that's it. And they were here before. But I'm saying all the little grading companies came. Arena Club's a repack company, man. Arena Club's a repack company. Okay, next topic of newsworthiness. I think talk about PSA, talk about Bobbles News, talk about Sports Card Investigator, grilling baseball card collector. I can't wait to see the feedback on that one. It was a very interesting video. Again, Andy, Sports Card Investigator, just comes out freaking out of nowhere like a ninja throwing stars, arrows. I was entertained. I laughed. I giggled. Okay. Sports card nonsense. And this is why I'm going to do this weekly video set. They started a video series, 3 people. I think the guy's name is Joey. I think he's a card shop owner out of Arizona. The other guy they have is a guy named Danny. Danny is from Sports News Daily out of Baltimore. I've run into Danny a lot. In fact, here's an interesting thing. Danny and I share the same birthday. We have the same birthday. That kind of, every time I think about that, I'm like, interesting. Just thoughts. I thought we were the same age, but he gave his age up today, and apparently he is younger than me. So anyway, did a great show. I did enjoy it. Mike Geo. I will say with these guys, Mike Geo, Danny, a lot of the content creators, I really like them. I feel like for some reason my comments get taken out of tone or context. Like when I comment, I get this like, oh, Ziggy, I just get this negative response. Even like, guys, if you follow me at all, when I'm in chat and freaking Bob Boozle's there or freaking these other guys, I get like, side freaking stars thrown at me. I don't know why. I don't intend to I don't engage because I'm trying to piss people off. I actually think I'm asking questions that people will be thinking themselves. I'm thinking like it's a question I'm thinking, something I'm not alone, dude. Hey, what about this? So anyway, it was just kind of a side thought there. Um, let me share with you. Okay, we're 15 minutes in. I'm gonna share with you. Real quickly here. I did want to mention. Yeah, I talked about sports card investigator, sports card nonsense video, the negative videos on breaking. Oh, Professor Sports Card. Shout out to Professor Sports Card. Did a great video on breaking. Again, we have the cameras on. If you didn't have cameras, like, I'm going to say this. Like I think I'm a really good advocate for breakers, because again, we have the cameras on. I can't please everybody, but if you show me a bad breaker, I will put pressure on him. I will have the community help me. We'll broadcast. We should have like a website that we can, like a scammers website for breakers, or you have breaker certification. You get like an A, B, or C grading every year, kind of like a diner, right? Like food. There was something I want to talk about on here. Junk wax error. Oh, that was the other topic. Oh, okay, quick. I want you to think about this, guys, before I forget. You know what makes this error different than any other error, and this is why you might argue that we're in a casino-like environment. Back in the 80s and 90s, there was no modern card being produced. In the 86 year, in 86, there was no card being made that was worth thousands of dollars. There was no card being made that was going to go to Golden Auction or some auction site, or was going to be in Beckett's book as the most expensive card ever. None of that, because at the time when you collected cards, when you hobbied cards, when you bought or sold cards in the 80s and 90s, you were buying them based on historical proof. Was that over time they go up in value because of their age, and they'll because they're old, and the player will be great. The card will be worth money. That was really the equation. Card old, player does great, card will be worth money. That was simply it. Today, 2025, we have cards that come out before they hit the freaking, like the Paul Skees card. Skees debut patch has not even been out of its package, less than a year, and it's $1 million transaction. Think about that. You cannot touch that. You cannot compare that phenomena of instant gratification in pulling cards of hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'll say $1 million, thousands of dollars, whatever. Big hits right now, right here today. You pull those now. They're being made right now. They're making cards right now, guys, that are going to be worth tens of thousands of dollars in a few months when they come out. That didn't happen back in the 80s, 90s. It couldn't happen. Okay, why does it happen now? A lot of factors because of that. A lot of factors into that. In fact, one of the best factors might be the fact that some of them are actually worth a lot of money, right? A game-worn patch of a great player who goes on to be great in the Hall of Fame. There's only one of them or a few of those. That is going to be a very valuable museum-like piece relic. And that is why people chase that shit. They didn't have that back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. It was just a card, man. They had an old card. It was in good condition. That meant it was really, really valuable. So those factors, you cannot compare the 80s to modern time now. It's just totally different. Another thing to point out, because of the amazing power and the price, like anytime those cards goes for $1 million, I think about the Luka cards. When those Luka's RPA went for $4 million, is one of one. It wasn't just that; it's a trickle down effect. Every Luka card underneath there went up in value. Not as much, but it all went up in value. Right? Same thing with all these. When a big card comes out, big rookie Wemby, every Wemby card goes up in value. Hey Ziggy, hope I didn't miss much. Sports card queen. I'm 18 minutes in, honestly, so I'm kind of at the end, but I do appreciate it. I'd kind of give you a summary recap if I get a chance. I do want to share with you guys, and I will say this too. Check out the AIs, and I'll even say this too. Don't fall in love with one of them. I fell in love with ChatGPT, and I realized I can't do that. So I'm now dating Gronk as well as ChatGPT, and I think I'm going to have a date with Gemini later on. But let me go back here. I've made a project in my ChatGPT, and in there I basically every day I say, "Hey ChatGPT, give me the news on what's going on," and I give it a bunch of sources. Instead of me sitting there clicking it all, I tell it to go out and find all the information, tell me this, and it comes back and gives me that information. So I've now asked it, look, not just run a report every day. I want a report every morning. I want you to run a report, show me everything that I'm asking you to get. So we're going to be running those reports in the future. And I will share them. I mean, hell, if I remember, I'll share them. But I'll say this: build your own report. You can do that. You can take ChatGPT and build your own report. So a couple of things that are in my report. My report today that I ran this afternoon. I'm gonna hit the highlights here. Okay, this is called ZiggyNo Raw Report. Wax Stat Top Box Movers. So Wax Stat's a resource that I use. Contenders Panini Football Boxes Strong Weekly Gains. Upper Deck, Upper Deck ice hockey boxes, upward trend. That's positively here. You can drill into this too, by the way. High-end hockey sets, the Cup and Dynasty, we're going up in value. So that right there, I'm getting a quick snapshot from Waxstat on those things. eBay comps. Now, I did ask for VFriends. I'm going to ask it to expand that. It did give me some information on Topps Dynasty. Verstappen 1 of 1 fetched 170,000. A sealed 2023 box averages 1750. Well, it's actually not bad for a box. I mean, it's a lot for a box, but I thought it'd be more. VFriends, the range from $50 to $200 for singles. I just want to quickly share with you guys. Look at this right here. Oh yeah, baby. Look at that color. Look at that color. Look at that color right there. You can't see it, but there's an a gold one in there too, man. I love freaking VFriends Chrome. Industry news. Collect reports that PSA 4.7 million. It goes over the numbers there. Collectors Universe Beckett talks about most significant run up since COVID boom. Talking about grading. Upcoming recent card shows. I got a snapshot of that in here for me. Check this out, guys. Listen to this. And I asked her to find me high school and college NIL signings. Leaf trading cards signed Cameron and Caden Boozer, high school ranked college prospects. Tell you what, Leaf's doing some smart stuff, guys. And if you like stuff like that, you can go get Leaf products relatively affordable before these guys make it to license. And the cards have value. They got some cool stuff out there. Julian Juju Lewis, that's not the same Juju, by the way. Georgia football number 12 ESPN recruit signed with Leaf as well. Notable high school NIL deals, 15-year-old Peyton Houston, Leaf LA quarterback signed with them, and Adidas backup defensive back Ethan Holiday signed with Adidas and Leaf. I think that's pretty cool, guys. That's just put on your radar there, man. I put that on my radar. Highlight news from YouTube, weekly shows. What's going on with sports card market right now? Chasing Cardboard. That's a weekly show. It's out. I have some snapshots here, some prices. It gives me prices on boxes, and then it gives me options to export. So I'll work on that report, but I thought I'd share that with you. Hey, man. Andy, no problem, dude. Loved your show today, man. You had me giggling. Had me laughing in stitches. That's it. We're just over 22 minutes. I think that's a pretty good rundown of everything. So we got through the news, got through some buzz, and we got through some chat GPT stuff. I will do more of these. This will not be daily. I can't commit to that. I cannot do that. I love to, but I can't. Got too many things going on. Man, I got a lot of things going on. Love you guys. Bye.